What's going on, everybody? For everyone who's watching right now, I'm begging you to just not click off just yet. This is very important. I went through something yesterday, and I really think I should share this, especially if this is kind of hard. I've been trying so hard to get it together so that I can speak about this. I'm trying to be strong. Nothing happened. But if you guys know people, or if you guys are victims of predators, just really disgusting men, or whoever that's wronged you in your life, especially like when you're young and you have no real power to say anything, to do anything, you're just so scared. This is for all those people who need to speak up. These are for victims like myself. I've tried a bunch of times to come out to family and let them know some stuff that happened to me growing up as a little girl, and I remember mentioning at those times back then just 2 incidents that happened to me, and one of them, they didn't believe me at all. And after that, I kept my mouth shut and I never brought it up until a few years ago, where all of these memories that I suppressed, they came back. It put me in a really bad depression, and I was always panicking because I didn't know where these memories came from. It just kind of all hit me all at once. And I thought, when you go through things like this, you always feel like you're alone. And me, I like to talk about things. I don't like to hold things in too much because it really makes me crazy. And when all these repressed memories came back, I did try to tell my family. I tried to tell some of my brothers, and it was exactly like when I was a kid. They ignored me. In fact, I had a brother who laughed at me. And it's not fair, because I finally basically grew the balls to say something. And for them to call me a liar, to say that I'm making up these stories, it's like, why? Why would any person lie about something like this? It was wrong for any of them to use that even against me over the last few years. This is why I've cut all ends with my family, because they're not family. They're just really horrible, evil people. So yesterday, I was walking my dogs, and usually it's been a very long time since anything like this has happened to me. I changed my appearance. I stopped dressing like a regular female in high school. I started to dress really masculine, and I got into martial arts really, really deeply, only because I always felt like I was a target. I'm a woman. I'm a small woman. And I changed the way I was dressing back in high school, and it only took one time for me to be touched inappropriately by this one boy. And that made me so uncomfortable that I didn't feel right dressing like a girl. So I started to wear my brother's clothes so that I'm not a target. And it worked for many, many years. For years, my hair was really, really short. I mean, the sides were cut. It was really, really short. But I've grown this comfortability with myself. I know I'm a woman. I don't want to be a man. Just because I'm a lesbian and I wear boy clothes, it doesn't make me want to be a man. I don't want to be a man. I kind of despise men. They are just such creepy little beings. They're just, I feel like they all have the ability to become something evil. I've witnessed it with my own family. Some of them were the most sweetest people you could ever meet. And the same people are the same ones who laughed at me about these stories. I'm not going to get into detail about, things that happened to me when I was a kid. I'm not gonna get into that right now. That's again, I've mentioned this in my last week's video. I started my cookie jar stories, and that's a part of my story. So eventually, you guys will hear that story. This video is from what happened yesterday, and I hope that you guys are still watching. So I was walking my dogs, and in the back of the dumpster where I usually walk my dogs, it was very, very dark. And my dog, thank God, she like barked a little bit, and it made me turn around. When I turned around, this guy, he just turned to me as he's walking past me. He says, how you doing? And I'm like, I'm great. How are you? And then I finally kind of get a really bad feeling. And I just kind of look towards him, and he stops and he says, at this point, I've already scoped out his entire body. I realized that he was probably homeless. He was really, really dirty. His pants was literally all the way down, and he was holding his penis in his hand. He turns to me and he says, can I ask you a question? And this was before I saw his hand and his penis. And I turned, and I'm like, as soon as he said that, I already felt like something was gonna happen. I thought, I hope nothing happens to me right now, especially that I just got into something with my wife, and if I'm out here for too long and she comes outside and she sees this man over me and he's, hurting me in whatever way, it's not gonna be right for her to witness something like that. So this man, he turns to me and he just says, can I ask you a question? And I'm like, what? And then he said, again, nothing happened, but it was just the fear that grew inside me that I can't even get over it today. I had a really bad nightmare and everything. It was so scary. I was so scared. You have no idea how scared I was. And I could defend myself. I can fight any man. That's not the problem. It was just the whole situation, how everything just happened. And I was just panicking. And he says to me, the question was, and excuse me, I'm gonna have to bleep this, but he says, really scary. I'm telling you, this guy was the scariest thing you could ever see. And he turns and he says to me, leaning forward as if he's about to just jump and attack me. And this is when I saw that his penis was in his hand. And he says, do you suck? And I got that was where I was like, oh no, I'm gonna get raped right now and this guy's gonna kill me or something. So I panicked and I kind of went crazy on this guy, and I was yelling at him and I was cursing at him so strong, dude, if you don't back the up right now, there's gonna be a problem. You need to start walking now. And he walks away, but he's walking in the direction of my house. So I'm like, how am I just gonna walk home? So where I'm standing, there's it's a garage building that's right in front of me, right? And then you can walk behind the garage, or you can walk right in front of the garage. That's where I walk, so I can just come right into my house. So I don't just turn the wall, because if he was standing right there, I didn't know if he had any weapons on him. I wasn't just going to turn right in front of the wall. So I did kind of, walk into the street, and I took a really wide turn so that I'm able to see the whole wall. He wasn't there. So I continued to walk forward. As I passed the garage, I looked over to the side, and now that I'm thinking about it, I think he was trying to come behind, like back through the back of the building to just come straight back towards me. He was all the way at the end of where I was basically standing just before that when he approached me. And I screamed to him again, I see you, and the security guy is right. There was no security there, but I just said, my security guard is right there, and I'm telling him that you are behind the buildings. So he just ran behind the wall. I came inside the house and I was so shaken up. I told my wife everything that was happening, and she said to call security. I called security. I told them what was going on, but I could not just leave it like that. So I told my wife, please get dressed, grab something. I grabbed the bat, I grabbed my flashlight, and I went outside to see if I can see the security guy, to let the security guy know a little bit more in detail about what happened. So my wife was like, why don't we get in the car and drive around? So we got in her car. We started driving around my community. We have probably thousands of people who live in this community. This is not the biggest community, but this is pretty big. I had the flashlight. We were driving around for maybe 5 minutes around the whole community, and we didn't see him. So I was like, you know what? Let me leave the community and maybe drive around the streets right by my apartments. So we drive around, we go through a gas station, we're looking around, we come back home, but I was still like feeling like I have to do something. I have to keep looking. I can't just leave it like this. I was still panicking. I was paranoid, like, what if he comes back again? And then the second time something actually happens to me or to my wife or to anybody around here. And then it hits me, oh my God. I'm like, I think this is the same male that's right here on Martin Luther King Boulevard. I'm like, if this is the same guy, he's not gonna be by these gas stations. He's going to be down on MLK. Let me just drive down MLK. So we start driving down MLK, and I was so close to just saying, you know what, screw it. But as I'm going, I see this man. It's him. I recognized the shirt and I recognized the pants. His pants was still down. So she goes, oh, I'm like, yes, that's him. So she says, let me call the cops. So she picks up the phone. She's calling the cops. She's explaining, she's talking to the cops as if it's me and just explaining what had just happened with me. So I wasn't going to leave him and just, assume that the cops were going to find him. So he was so if I'm coming down the street, he was crossing the street, it looked like he was walking down a block where there was actual houses. This is apartments that we live in. No, he walked down a block where there was houses. We realized that he was trying to jump over the wall to people's houses, like basically in their backyards. I don't know if he noticed that we were watching him or following him, but he kind of stopped doing what he was doing and then just kept walking up and down the block. Finally, the police came. It didn't take them that long. It took them maybe 5 minutes for them to get to us. So we're facing, the street where the cop came through, and the cops turned in without their lights on. So I put my hand out of the window and I was pointing, I was going like this, like he went down that block. So the cops did put on their big lights that they have on top. It was just like a humongous flashlight, and they aimed it at us. So I kept going like that with my hand, like turn. He's down this block. They finally turned and they saw the guy. And the guy automatically put his hands up, and he basically ran to the cop car and put his hands right on the cop car as if he knows exactly what to do. I was gonna leave. So I'm like, you know what? Let me not do that. Let me just circle back around again and talk to the cops. So I pulled down the window and I was like, should I stay or should I go? And he tells me no, don't go. Just stay here and we're gonna come to you in a second. So we did wait a few minutes. And eventually the cop did come to us, and he asked me what happened, and I explained to him everything that happened. He took my information, and he said if he has any more questions that he will call me and let me know what happened. So I felt okay and I left and I came back home. Most women go through something like this at some point in their life. Being raped, being molested, being followed, being drugged up, or something like that. Women are always targets, and it's not fair. Why do we still not feel safe? After so many years, I forgot to really pay attention to everything around me. I thought that part of my life was gone, but that was not the case. Because yesterday, once again, a predator. If I did not come off as strong as I did, God knows what could have happened. I have no idea what his true intentions were. And I'm grateful, I'm happy that it didn't go further. But the fact that this happened again has brought up a lot of really scary feelings that I even had a nightmare about it. And I woke up so shaken up about it. Like, I couldn't even do my dishes today. I was like scared to come over here to the back room because it was dark. I'm like just feeling like he's in my bathroom or something like that. Now I have to walk outside with, something on me, a bat, a knife, a pen, a screwdriver. It's just so unfair. There's too many crazy people out there. So even if you're a male, if you look like you're weak, you're a target. You're a target for one of these predators. Because at some point, somebody in your life that you know will be attacked. If you know people, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you have siblings, you have kids, daughters, you guys need to pay attention to them, especially when they change their attitudes. If they're the happiest kids on earth and then they just become so closed off, don't become angry with them because they're closed off. Try to understand them, because I am a victim, and growing up I did not have the stomach to say something because I knew no one would understand. And I was right. No one did understand at all. I was made fun of and people called me a liar. I had to keep it to myself, but I will not keep it to myself. This is something that needs to be spoken about. Everyone needs to be careful, protect themselves. Don't walk around at night by yourself, especially if you are a woman. Don't do it. I don't care if you have to walk your dog. I don't care if you have to throw away the trash. If you live alone, you know what? Let the dog take a crap in the house. Throw away the trash in the morning where there's light outside. Make sure that there's people around. Don't think that you're just safe, because when you least expect it, there could be somebody right there getting ready to do something so horrible to you. So you guys just be careful, because these predators, they're out there. They're out there and they're just waiting for the next victim to attack. They're just waiting and waiting and waiting. I'm already traumatized with this. So for these feelings to come back again, and I'm a grown woman, I'm already an adult, I'm already 30 years old, and for me to have this fear in me again like I did when I was a little girl, it's just not fair. I'm glad I got that out. If you guys are still watching, I really, really appreciate it. I put out a video every Monday. Hopefully the next one isn't as sad. If you know anyone who has gone through anything like this, just be there for them. Just because they're acting like everything's okay, just ask them if they're okay. Just make sure that they're always okay, because these things, these memories, these feelings don't just disappear. They still sit there, and it's just really scary. So you guys be safe. I'll see you guys next week. And share this video, please, so that people can be more careful outside, women can be more careful, and we need to protect ourselves, and that's it. So I'll see you guys next week. Don't forget to subscribe, do all that stuff. And yeah, you guys take care of yourselves. I'll try to do the same. Bye.